These are some of the youngest members of the Edina community. Some will graduate in June of this year. Some won't graduate until the year 2020 or beyond. What will the world look like for these Edina students? What challenges will they face? What careers will they choose? What skills will they need? We have created a tradition of excellence in education at Edina Public Schools, and it's a tradition we all seek to maintain. However, the challenge of continuing that tradition of excellence at our schools is greater today than ever before.
Statistics show that most jobs that our students will be ready for when they graduate aren't even created yet. So there are a lot of skills we need to make sure the students have. They need to have that little something extra.
The future lies before us in our young people. Our future is going to be about how well our young people are trained and ready for the future. It's about education.
Several years ago, when classroom personal computers needed to be purchased to enhance student learning, but tight school budgets prohibited such an expense, a group of dedicated community members gathered, and the Edina Education Fund was born. Since the genesis of the Ed Fund over a decade ago, fundraising efforts have continued. And thanks to the Ed Fund, an abundance of new and innovative teaching practices and technologies have been implemented throughout Edina Public Schools.
Come in, grab a bagel. 7 years ago, we had this crazy idea that maybe kids would want to talk to each other about good books. The Edina Ed Fund was our initial benefactors.
Helps you meet people and just get together and enjoy reading.
It's a chance to read something and talk about it.
I cannot tell you the power of handing a kid a book and a bagel.
What we wanted to do was have the students take a piece of creative writing, such as a poem, and then have my photo students illustrate that image for what we're going to call art cards.
We're thrilled that the Edina Ed Fund was able to help us fund this project. Without this opportunity from the Ed Fund, we would be light years behind where we need to be in language learning.
I wrote a grant for the Education Fund a few years ago to get a tablet PC for my classroom and found that it was very beneficial for my teaching purposes. The students really loved seeing how I teach up on the screen using color and using the internet when necessary. It keeps them more engaged and it keeps them more interested in what we're learning. So I'm really grateful to the Ed Fund. We now have every math teacher at the high school, all 12 of us, who are able to teach with the tablet PC.
The Edina Ed Fund provides some money for us to carry out an experiment where kids were actually able to trap microorganisms in the air and grow them in the lab.
The Ed Fund has been instrumental in starting FIRST Robotics, and they've been a great supporter.
Today in class, I'll teach a lesson that without the technology that Ed Fund has provided to the math department would probably have taken me anywhere from 4 days to 6 days, and today we'll do it in half an hour.
We know that all kids benefit from string instruments, and to play a string instrument, engages both left and right side of your brain. The more kids we can get in an instrumental music program, the better those kids are going to be in the long run, and the more engaged they're going to be in their other classes as well. After receiving an Ed Fund grant, we have an increase of about 30% for the elementary string program.
It's a real magical moment in the classroom when a young child can actually see and touch math. That's when the real learning begins.
1.
Which number's greater?
You get it.
3. The small cube represents what? 1. That represents a very large number?
1,000.
1,000.
The Edina Ed Fund honors the initiative that teachers often have in terms of putting forth a program that will enhance a student's learning.
Keeping pace with the rapid changes of today's educational environment isn't easy, and more importantly, it's costly. When needs arise and budgets are tight, the Ed Fund is there to quickly meet those needs in innovative and responsive ways.
We can't depend on state and federal funds to get the needs met for our young people's future, their education. We are dependent on our community, and our community has supported our students.
There is no official budget for the Career Center through counseling or anything else, and so from time to time when we've needed something, we've gone to the Ed Fund and they've been very, very generous to us.
Edina Education Fund allows us to dream big and allows us to go above and beyond so that we can give kids a high quality education that they deserve.
You know, science, to do real science is expensive. It takes a lot of money to do that, and the Ed Fund gave us the money to do this.
It makes such a difference in the lives of children in our district. We're able to do so many things that otherwise we would not have the opportunity or potential to do.
Schools only go so far.
So anything that you want to do that's a little bit outside of the box or a little bit more, the Ed Fund is perfect for that.
Without the Edina Ed Fund, really as teachers, we wouldn't have any other source to go to.
It's so important because this gives teachers a chance to not only collaborate, but to be innovative.
It's really allowed me to reach children across all levels in my classroom.
Edina's schools consistently rank among the top in our nation, and this does not happen by chance. This happens because of people like you, people who understand the power and value of the commitment we've made in Edina to educating our youth.
I've taught in 6 different districts in 4 different states, and never have I encountered the kind of organization that Ed Fund has.
To be able to have a fund that can fund these innovative new kinds of things that continue to make, in my case, middle schoolers can want to come through that door every day.
It's just a wonderful foundation that our kids have no idea about, but that it's there and is really helping our whole educational system.
It goes right back into the community, you know, showing off what their community can do, what their young people can do.
Every day I wake up and I'm thrilled to be working in Edina because we are so supported.
Everything is for the students, yet provided by people they've never met, and I think that's really important and special.
In Edina, we've always made educating our young people a priority, and we are continually seeking to provide the very best to students at our schools.
The teachers in Edina still encouraged me. They could have just said, forget about her. But I had an art teacher that really challenged me and supported my work.
Every classroom has been changed, and every student has been touched by the Edina Education Fund.
And my husband and I, though not residents of Edina, have donated every year because we really believe in the power of the Ed Fund to unleash teacher creativity and innovation.
I appreciate Ed Fund tremendously. I would encourage you to support them.
Thank you, Edina Ed Fund, for understanding and valuing music education in our schools.
Thanks to the Ed Fund for funding our dream.
I want to be involved, and I want my friends to be involved.
This is not something we can do alone.
It is another vehicle where parents and alumni can provide innovation and excellence for our schools.
The Ed Fund for Edina Public Schools is becoming a key source of how we are going to be able to move forward and truly have our young people ready for the 21st and 22nd century. And when they're successful, our community is going to be successful.
For generations, our schools have supported our community. But now, more than ever, our community needs to support our schools.
My whole career was in the financial industry on Wall Street. You got to look at where you make your investments. And we all have different things we have to give to, right? We have churches, institutions that we give to, other charitable issues. But our kids literally spend half of their awake lives in our school system. And it is absolutely critical that we don't sit around and wait for public funding in an environment where public funding is going to get tougher and tougher. We need to step up ourselves and as a community say, we care about excellence. We care about taking care of our children.
Edina wants to be, and Edina will be, through this partnership commitment, a premier school district in this world.
This commitment deserves our full passion, our full intensity, and our full investment.
Gifts to the Edina Ed Fund will forever have a positive impact on kids today and tomorrow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Gracias, merci, danke, thank you.
Thank you.
Join us.
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 Please join us.